Welcome to the Kruger Park Sereni solar PV site. Current Automation has just finished installing this particular site. It's our first big project in Kruger. I'm going to walk you through it now, just show you a tour of the facility. What you see in front of us is a Schletter ground-mounted array. This particular array has 72 modules which are connected in 3 strings of 24. These are 260 watt panels. So these are connected to an Ingeteam grid tie inverter. That's our first array. Moving a bit further along, you'll notice there's a second array and also a third array behind that, as well as a smaller array up on the roof of the power room. The second, third and smaller array on the power room are all connected to Studer Vario string MPPT charge controllers. We've configured them in strings of 13 onto both inputs of the Vario string. So in other words, 26 times 260 watt modules per Vario string 120 amp MPPT. Right. The smaller array on the roof also provides shading and an element of cooling to the facility, because in that room are housed the batteries and all the inverter equipment, and it's been fiercely hot during this installation. We've gone up to about 44-45 degrees on most days. You'll also notice the diesel tanks next to the facility. These diesel tanks provide fuel for the generator, which is housed in the first compartment here. Is a 55 kVA generator which acts as a backup to the system. Alright, into the actual power rooms. I'll open the first door. Right, here we have the heart of the system. We have 6 Studer Extender XTH 8000s connected in a 3-phase configuration. Further into the power room we have our Ingeteam grid tie inverter. It's a 20 kilowatt 3-play Ingeteam. That's connected to the first array, provides power directly onto the AC bus, running most of the loads of the camp during the day. Over here we have a control panel with all sorts of great lights which show us what's active at the moment. You'll notice on the top the generator and the inputs to the Studer XTH inverters are not active. The system is running purely from solar and batteries at the moment. So only the outputs, the Ingeteam is active, and the loads are obviously active as well. We also have a large changeover switch which can be turned to off to isolate the system immediately, or in the opposite direction it goes directly onto a generator bypass. Moving to this side of the room, we see the 7 Studer Vario string MPPT charge controllers. Each one is capable of producing 120 amps, which feeds down through the DC cables on the racking. All the cables lower level of the room are DC, through a channel in the floor, up onto a DC busbar system, through a large set of fuses, up onto the DC bus bar, and then to the Studer XTH inverters, as well as down through the floor into the battery room, which is next door. We'll take a look at that now. Alright, in this room we had space constraints, so we're unable to use flooded batteries, so we've opted to use the Narada REX series batteries, which are free from orientation constraints. What we have in this room are 4 banks of 48 volt 2000 amp hour cells, giving us a total of 8000 amp hours at 48 volt. Again, these batteries are connected to buzz bars on the end, which go down through a channel under the floor, keeping all the DC low, cross to the other side and out. In this room as well, we're also monitoring the battery temperature through a Studer battery temperature sensor, since the batteries sit in a separate room from where the inverters are. What we have discovered during our stay here is that the ambient temperatures are exceptionally high, and it's likely to have quite a dramatic impact on the life of the batteries. For that reason, we will be installing an air conditioner into this room, as well as insulating all the openings from windows, doors, louvers, to ensure that the rooms stay at 25 degrees. We'll install inverter air conditioners just to keep the ambient temperature at 25, both for the power room and for the battery room. We commissioned the system yesterday. It was very successful. The camp has been running purely off-grid. We've tested our generator, which can also start up if we run the batteries down to 40% state of charge for more than 5 minutes. The generator will automatically be started, and this will allow generator feed-in to recharge the batteries, power the camp in tandem with the solar feeds which are occurring at the same time. In general, an exceptionally satisfying installation, and one that we hope to do a lot more of in Kruger.